Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm headed to the office about 7:30 in the morning. It's a typical routine, get up at 5, and I've got my morning rituals kind of thing. I'll go over to another episode of this, but basically got up at 5 and exercised, lifted the weights again. It'd been a little over a week because in kickboxing I kind of tweaked my wrist and didn't want that to, I don't know really what happened, but didn't want to injure that further, so didn't really lift weights for about a week, a little bit more, and so I finally did this morning. It's always weird how after just 1 week even, it's kind of a little bit harder mentally to get yourself back out there and start exercising like that. But anyway, and then after you get going, it's great and you feel much better. But anyway, then I had to rush a little bit to finish my assignment. So we have homework for our flipping business where we have the team reading a book called Work the System by Sam Carpenter. It's an excellent book. It's about building systems for your business and working the systems and seeing everything from an elevated perspective. So Sam had a call center type business that was killing him for years, and he had this sort of major collapse or whatever, and had an epiphany where he saw everything that was done in the company as a self-contained system, sort of as a machine, and realized that he could, set up processes inside the machine and then get it fine-tuned and kind of be apart from it. And the biggest part of that is sort of having that elevated perspective, and this is what everybody talks about when they talk about working on your business and not so much in your business all the time. And the one analogy that I tend to always go back to is the one of some foresters going through and chopping down trees in a forest, and they're working hard day in day out, working really hard, feeling like they're kicking butt and everything, and then the leader goes and climbs a tree and looks around and says, "Oh crap, we're in the wrong forest," and so they did all that work, but it wasn't it wasn't the right forest. They're working on the wrong thing. So you got to have somebody with an elevated perspective, seeing and directing the company and seeing what's working, what's not, creating the systems, and then always working on tweaking those. And so it's just a good way to look at things, and especially if you're new in this business, to kind of see that and run everything and set up everything with that perspective. And one thing that he was talking about that kind of resonated with the homework assignment part of the chapters, those 2 chapters that we're having everybody read every week, and then our Monday morning meeting, we discuss what we got out of it. And it's a good way to include everybody in the discussion because, really everybody's going to be creating the processes, not just one person, but the whole team. So it's good to have everybody on board with it and with the discussion and everything. So it's a really cool way to run things. But, like one thing that really resonated with me in this chapter that he had talked about was sort of detaching yourself emotionally whenever you have that elevated perspective. So, it's looking at things as they are, and this sort of goes into the stoicism and all that kind of stuff. He doesn't mention that, but I've been reading about some of that stuff, Marcus Aurelius writings and stuff, but looking at everything detached in an objective way so that you can fix them, right? So you can see exactly what it is without any kind of emotional attachment or reasoning or justifications or excuses, really. So you can see what's broken and what needs to be fixed and fix that kind of stuff. And that gets into a lot of the self-awareness and stuff that I've also been reading. So an excellent book that I finished about that is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's an excellent book. You should get that too, if you want to find out more about self-awareness and sort of having an elevated perspective or an outside perspective. I think he calls it like the witness. So you witness how you're reacting to things. And in this business, if you've been in it, like that we have stuff that comes up and that you've got to deal with. And so when it looks easy to people, maybe if they have success and it looks easy to them, maybe it's because they've just learned how to handle all the situations that come up and make it look easy. But everybody's got problems. Everybody's got things that come up and cause them stress and problems, but it's more about how you deal with it, obviously. And having that detached outside perspective of how you're reacting can change the way that you handle everything. So you make it, it's work, it's hard work. It's not something you decide to do and all of a sudden start doing. But so those are some things that are going on. So I just wanted to share with you the book Work the System by Sam Carpenter. You should check it out. And I really like the way he wrote the book too, because he talks about his story and how he sort of was like a person that felt like, to be happy you had to be carefree. Like you just had to find a way to be carefree and not care about things and let things worry you and stuff like that. And you just have to, not be so strict and you had to be just like laid back. And then he found out like that's not really a way to be happy. It's not a good way because there's no structure, right? And so what he found out, and that was part of his epiphany, was just that even in his life, all the things that he's doing personally even are all systems and processes. And sort of being realizing that and just finding ways to make those more efficient. And you hear a lot these days about hacking stuff. It's about like life hacking, and really a lot of that really mimics that or follows that sort of line of thinking. And so it's pretty cool. It's a good way to look at things, because if you understand that everything that you do, the way you spend your time and what you accomplish and what you want to do, figuring out what you want to do, what you're doing, what you want to do, and how you're feeling about all of it. If you're stressed, changing what you're doing or what you're involved in, that's the way to be happy. And that was an epiphany he had. And so I like the way he started the book that way, because it kind of shows you, instead of just being real dry and like to the point of, we've got to create processes, you got to document everything in your business is real. Like that's the end product, but the reasoning and the epiphany in getting there, because it allows you to have that epiphany. So it's pretty cool. So check it out, and hope you enjoyed this episode. Obviously, I'm at the office. It only takes me about 2 minutes to get from my house to the office, so that's a luxury of being the boss and deciding where the office is. But anyway, everybody have a great day. Talk to you soon.